Did that look like the thing from Severance?
Hello. You should watch Severance. It's a very good show, but watch this video first. It has been a long time. I don't even know how long it's been. I could check quick. May 6th? Oh my god. Okay, so, a lot of stuff happened. Crazy thing though this morning, we have to start with this. I was gonna go donate platelets. Again, I have an old video when I first set up my green screen where I went to go donate platelets and something went wrong, so I came home and made a video. Same thing happened today, only the thing that went wrong was that they were short-staffed and I don't have all day. I have a date tonight, and I would look like a real shoe clerk if I missed the reservation because I was too busy double pinned up. Great segue. What's the date? It's the lovely Aubrey who made all the art on this channel. What a treat. Then there is the album, right? So May was right before June, which should have been June Tunes number 5. That was album number 5. And that never happened because a ton of stuff happened at once. I already made a YouTube video about how I lost my job, but I stopped making videos after that. I found a new job. So I went from single and working remotely and uploading a video. It was almost weekly that first year. But now everything changed. You notice I'm in a whole completely different house now because I got a new job and then I moved across town near that job. And that job is in person, and they are very strict about the hours. So I don't work remotely anymore, and I have a girlfriend, which benevolently does take time, sue me, and I've been going to the gym, so it's a whole new life, but it's gotten in the way of making YouTube videos. But here's what happened. I started playing Factorio again, and I was like, wow, I kind of find time for Factorio. And I was like, okay, well, if I can find time for that, maybe I can find time for something else. And that's where we get to what's going on today. I'm so glad the platelet donation got canceled so I can talk about this and make this video, because this video is episode 0 of a series. We're gonna get to that. So the big reveal is that I will be remaking Pikmin in the Godot game engine. I have always wanted to, develop a love letter to Pikmin and also cut my teeth as a game developer by remaking it in, my own image, making it the way I would want to. Then, well, I've got it's Ben, and he has been working on a game for a long time. He's never finished it, he's restarted a few times, but it's stellar. It's so good. He doesn't have a YouTube channel. I'll put up a few clips here. It's incredible. Now, he had a head start, obviously, but the idea was a third friend was going to put out a bounty. So then there was a cash prize for whoever got the best Steam reviews in 6 months. We made this decision at New Year's. And I love that idea because he said it has to be Steam reviews, not how much money you make on Steam. It's what the people think of the game, which requires marketing. You can imagine a Reddit post, I quit my job to make my dream game. And it's funny how this offhand, back of the napkin bounty from New Year's would end up teaching as much, if not more, than the classes I had back in college for game design. So I don't know if the bounty is actually going to happen, but the game development has been happening. So here's the plan. Let me return back to the true agenda. I intend to release weekly videos again. Now, weekly is just forcing me to actually squeeze out a few hours a week to work on something, okay? It might not be groundbreaking each time. And I'm also no Sebastian Lag. I'm not going to be committing every time a goofy thing happens and then spin it into a 2-hour yarn where every goofy glitch gets an explanation and then a dramatic fix there. I'm not going for like super high video quality, at least to start, because this is just a motivation to get the game worked on. And the reason this is episode 0 is because finally I have enough work to show off in a video, which I will release in a week, and then that'll be episode 1, and then hopefully we're off to the races. Hopefully I don't have to miss a week, but it's more like 4 a month. That gives you leeway if I'm a little late, and they're not necessarily going to be scheduled. It's just trying to do 1 a week. So the question is, like, what are we actually working on? That's the exciting part of it. So remaking Pikmin in Godot. Why Godot? So another one of the many game design YouTube channels I watch is Ace Rolla. He's an absolute champion, and he was switching to Godot for reasons. You can watch the video, I'll link it. Also, Bracky's, the king of game design tutorials that used to be in Unity, he also switched to Godot. So there's pressure to move to this other game engine that I've never used before. So I need to learn it. And that's what brings us to phase 1. Phase 1 is learning Godot by remaking Pikmin. So I'm sort of doing my own game design education where it's like, look at the element of the game, and then I can try to put into code what it is that I like about it. And that way I can learn more about Godot. So it'll be a really watered down version of Pikmin. For example, there's 3 colors of Pikmin. I'm only gonna make 1. There's a dozen categories of enemies in the game. I'm only gonna make 1. There's 5 areas. I'm only gonna make 1. It's like the minimum viable product of what Pikmin is, the essence of Pikmin. The way these videos are going to work is there's gonna be 3 parts. The first part is observing something about Pikmin, a design aspect, a mechanism in the game, a mechanic we might say, and then analyzing how a fellow developer might do that. The video's gonna have 3 parts. The thing about Pikmin, actually remaking it, and then notes from me, which are, if I was remaking Pikmin Epic style, how would I change it? If I ran the zoo, would this go like this? Because as for how much I love Pikmin, when you love something, you notice the flaws in it as well. And there's so many things I feel like Pikmin just misses the mark slightly that would make it even better. But I'm not going to, in the end, remake Pikmin. Phase 2 is once I've crested the hill of knowing Godot well enough and remaking Pikmin, I'm going to make what I want to call the first Pikmin-like. I've got some ideas in my head, I've got some design choices. Obviously it has to be different enough from Pikmin. I'm not just gonna reskin Pikmin. It's gonna be meaningfully different, but enough that it can be inspired by it. So the videos, weekly, are gonna have 3 phases. Thing from Pikmin, how I replicated it, how I would change it if I made my own different game. What is a Pikmin-like? So if you're not as familiar with game development terminology, you might not know this, but or just gaming, because if you play games, you know this, but the OG is rogue-like. I don't know anyone who's actually played Rogue, but there was an original game, had randomly generated dungeons, you'd find items, you get your stats leveled up. I love roguelikes, like Risk of Rain 2 is probably my favorite. There's also Metroidvanias, which is what makes my point really obvious. Super Metroid is a game I adore. It is so good at what it wants to be. But then they made Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight is a Metroidvania. It improves upon the form of Super Metroid. And obviously you're allowed to have your favorites. But if you like what makes Super Metroid good, I highly recommend you should play Hollow Knight, because it is it's like an improvement in every possible way. It's incredible. Obviously the original still stands on its own, but you get what I mean. So then the question is, why aren't there any Pikmin likes? I think there's 2 reasons for that. First of all, Pikmin just isn't as popular. You know, Mario is a platformer. There's a bajillion platformers. There's a bajillion first-person shooters. There's a bajillion roguelikes, and there's also quite a few Metroidvanias. These are popular concepts for games. Meanwhile, Pikmin, I mean, do you consider it a real-time strategy game? And this is where I'm getting into the analysis of Pikmin, but it's like, you're not omniscient. You can't move the camera around and tell all your little troops what to do. You are on the field fighting with them, and you can also die. So real-time strategy is too vague. That's why I want to make a category of a Pikmin-like. That's what I'm saying here. We're going to make something like Pikmin. It's going to be the first Pikmin-like, and I'm really, really excited about it because, I mean, like, if I knock this out of the park, it's like a whole new genre of game. Reason number 2, I almost forgot, is the people making Pikmin content, because there's a ton of it, they are making ROM hacks of Pikmin 2. Pikmin 2 is a GameCube game, and these ROM hacks are made to run on GameCube hardware. So for whatever reason, that's more popular than remaking the game themselves. I guess modding seems easier than redoing it all, but it's also like, I mean, like, the things that make Pikmin, I feel like I would have a pretty good grip on, which is what phase 1 is. Instead of ROM hacking Pikmin as it already is and keeping all those, you know, the little dials, how far a Pikmin goes when you throw them, how fast you can run, just real core stuff, I want to just make that myself, to prove myself as a game developer. And then once I've earned it, I will take this engine, we might say, a Pikmin engine, and then tweak it to my desires. And just like as a little teaser, Pikmin is all about nature and little tiny dudes. Mine, I think it still has to be tiny dudes just for the sense of scale, but it's gonna be like robots and mechanical stuff. It's gonna be meaningfully distinguishable from Pikmin. And this is episode 0.